Hey, how y'all doing, guys? How you doing? Happy Veterans Day. Today is day number 11. Happy Veterans Day to all our veterans out there, active duty, past, current, and hey, even the future ones. You know what? There's some people going through basic right now. Happy Veterans Day to you. Hopefully you make it through and, all will go well in your career. So, Veterans Day. Look, little background on me, if y'all didn't know already. 22-year veteran, retired January 2020. Yeah, and then, y'all know what happened after that. But you know what? It's when you're a veteran, you get to think about things sometimes, about the people that you worked with, why you joined, and everything else like that. And I kind of posted about this earlier, is that when people join the military, they join for different reasons. There's a lot of different reasons why people join. Some people join because of the benefits of the college that you get for free. Some people join for patriotism. Some people join because their relatives or father, mother, brother, sister were previously in the military, so they joined. And some people just join because they don't know what else to do. I mean, let's be real. But when you join and you serve with other people, there's a lot of benefits. Now, sometimes people go in and they don't actually see the benefits. They don't get it. And that's fine, but eventually they learn. And I'm just going to, point out a couple of things that I learned. Well, one of the biggest things that I learned working in the military is how to work with others. How to work with others that don't necessarily agree with you. How to work with others that don't like you. How to work with others that might not have the same kind of ethics or values that you might have, or preconceived notions of that. But you learn how to work with folks. You learn how to be humble. You learn how to take authority. You learn how to lead others. You learn how to work as a team, even when you don't want to. Because the mission for the whole is more than just the one person. It almost sounds like a Star Trek thing. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one. But there is some truth to that. So to all of our veterans out there, I salute you all. And I know sometimes it can be difficult being in the military because of the very things that we have to do. The nature of things. We have to train. We have to deploy. Go to places that we don't want to go to necessarily to help others out that might not necessarily want us there. But we're trying to do it for their good in the long run, at least for our perspective. Being in the military, we're not concerned about politics, even though sometimes we are. But when the mission dictates, and we try to execute as best as we can, with the strength that we can, with the strength of our brothers and sisters. So I honor you guys, and I'm proud to say that I'm a veteran, and I served 22 years in the military. And for those of you guys that are in there right now, hey, be strong. We support you guys. And a way to support our military folks, and I've said it before in many of my other posts, I've said it before in my podcasts, is if you know of a military organization that's out there that had a little glitch going on there, if you know any organizations that are out there supporting the military, and they're aligned with your values and things, contribute to those organizations because they need your funding. They need your funding. This is just a point blank range and the truth of it, to be able to support our military, especially the veterans, especially those that are in need after they get out. They don't necessarily have an idea of what they want to do when they get out of the military, or a direction or purpose, skill sets, and things of that nature. Look for those organizations. And if you're curious about some of those organizations, send me a message. I'll be happy to point you into the directions of ones that I know of that actually directly help veterans and their organizations. If you've seen one of my posts earlier, I posted my different episodes of my podcast that have veterans that came on to talk about what they do, how they help, or even just motivate and encourage. And some of them have organizations that they work with directly because they're in charge of that organization to directly impact veterans and the things that they need. So, guys, Veterans Day, it's a awesome day because little brief history if you don't know about Veterans Day. First, it was the armistice. It was called Armistice Day because in World War I, there was an armistice between all the people fighting, and they declared Armistice Day to be on the 11th of November because the armistice happened on the 11th day, the 11th month, the 11th hour. So they called it Armistice Day. That was back in 1919. World War I was supposed to be the war to end all wars. But we know World War II happened and other wars happened after that, of course. So it was in, I think, 1938, they made it a legal holiday, and Armistice Day was the primary day set aside for veterans of World War I. But in 1954, after World War II, they made it a celebration for all veterans and turned it into Veterans Day to celebrate all veterans, not just veterans of World War I. So, a little history on that, and that's why we celebrate. And that's why it is very cool and very honorable to thank a veteran. Veterans go through a lot. You know, we understand this, and especially those that have served and have come out and have PTSD and other things like that. So again, if you know of any organizations that help veterans with, especially with PTSD, even with job skills and other things like that, you know, take some time, consider it, and contribute to one of those organizations. If you can volunteer, volunteer. That's even good too. When I was in Florida, when I was living in Florida, I volunteered with an organization that helped veterans. We went out in the Everglades. They're called the Swamp Apes. And we went out to the Everglades and helped veterans go out there to capture the Burmese pythons that were an invasive species that were affecting the Everglades in a bad way. So we went in there with veterans and helped them to get those critters out of there. And you know what? Believe it or not, it actually helped the veterans to do that, to help them to recover from alcoholism, other things like that, PTSD, anger management issues. And, you know, it's a great organization. They're still doing great things out there. But if you're ever interested in that, if you're in South Florida, check out swampapes.org. A great organization. They do great things. And the gentleman that owns that, or the owner or founder, is Tom Rahill. Great guy. He loves veterans. So, all right. Happy Veterans Day. And I was promising to share from yesterday, an incident that occurred to me when I was in the military. I was doing some training to be a combat lifesaver, and combat lifesavers were the immediate emergency medical help prior to actual medics coming in to bring and render aid to someone who may have been injured. Well, going through that training to be a combat lifesaver, you have to be able to administer, or at that time, because they don't do the administering of needles anymore. At that time, one of the final things we had to learn was to administer a needle to someone so they can get some saline solution, liquids, and whatever the case may be, to help them out. Well, for those of you know me from the past, I don't like blood. I don't like I don't like needles. Especially if I'm giving somebody a needle. Now, a doctor, nurse can give me a needle. I can see my own blood. I'm good. Nothing wrong with that. But administering a needle to somebody else or seeing blood for somebody else kind of messes me up. Now, I could watch a gory movie. That's not whatever. Like if I'm watching surgery on TV, no. I don't want nothing to do with that. So, but anyway, when I was trying to give the needle because you first you do like a test, then then you got to go live and give an actual needle, everything else like that to show that you know, got in the vein and whatever, so you can administer the IV. Well, as I was trying to administer the IV, going through the whole looking for the vein and everything else like that, I almost started blacking out as I was trying to insert the IV. All I know is that I was sitting there for a long time. I started sweating. I started getting like tunnel vision, and I had to stop. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I can't find this guy's vein. And it was really hard to find his vein because he had like thick skin, and he was pale, but still had thick skin, and I couldn't find the vein. So eventually I had to try it again. Again, almost passed out. I started having, you know, breathe hard, sweating and everything else like that. Hey, Dale. And, but I made it. I had to stick the needle in there. And they taught us that, you know, sometimes when you stick the needle in, you have to search for the vein. And I was like, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. Look, search for it. I'm like, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting the vein. Search for it. Move it around. I'm literally almost passing out trying to do this. Eventually, I found it after searching, poking, and prodding. And man, just thinking about it right now, I'm like, oh boy, this is not good. But eventually, I got it. Passed my test. Thank God. And I was able to pass my course to be a combat lifesaver. Thank God in my military career, I did not have to do any type of poking somebody with a needle to administer an IV. Thank God. And that's why I never became a medic, because I couldn't do that all day dealing with all that stuff. It's just me. You know, couldn't do it. But anyway, that was just a funny part of my military career, that, yeah, all the things that I've done in my life, adventures, things of that nature, and then needles and blood. Whoo, man. Yeah, that was just interesting. But God bless you guys. This one's going to be a short one. Again, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. All those guys that I served with, I definitely valued our service together. And then as you grow and learn and you realize, you know, all the things that you learn from everybody that you meet. Everyone that you meet in the military, you can learn something. And for those of you guys that are currently in there, value the time. Even with the people that you don't agree with all the time, you can learn something valuable. Leaders truly understand that you can learn from the good and the bad. And sometimes we learn more from those people that are not as friendly or not as keen or not as whatever we think they are. If we really evaluate things, we can learn something from everybody. Even, like I said, true leadership understands the good and the bad. That's why in the military, we always have those after-action reviews that nobody likes to do. But that is a very, very good time for learning. Very, very good time for learning. But again, God bless you guys. Have a blessed rest of your Veterans Day. And hey, look, don't let just this one day, just like with Mother's Day, Father's Day, and all these other days that we celebrate people, don't let just this one day be a day that we give thanks to the veterans. When you come across a veteran, thank them. Sometimes they might not react. Hey, yeah, we're going to let you do. No, I am not going to do another IV. But yeah, if you ever see a veteran, thank them for their service. Now sometimes they might not be like, oh yeah, you know, they might not react as well because, you know, we think it as part of our duty. I'm one of those ones that I appreciate you giving me thanks, but it was my humble service and my gratitude and to do that service for this country. And you learn a lot especially when you go overseas and you do service overseas, and especially in war zones and things of that nature, peacekeeping missions. You can learn a lot and be appreciative of what we have here in this country. And that's why some people fight very, very hard so we don't go and have government acting like governments in those other countries here, because we understand that freedom is very, very, very valuable. And only people that have gone overseas to see how it is in other countries can truly value what it is here. And I'm not saying anything bad about whatever, so don't hear what I'm not saying. But you know what? We need to truly appreciate what our veterans have done to protect our way of life, and how we can have free elections, that we can actually vote, and we fight for that voting right, whatever side you're on the table. But it's very, very valuable what we have in this country. We need to protect it. We need to protect those freedoms, especially if those freedoms are infringed upon by people that are in politics, unfortunately. And we have to vote those guys out. That's all I'm going to say about that. We got to vote the people out that actually don't want to protect our freedoms and that are listening to other countries that don't have those freedoms that we have. Anyways, that's enough of my rant. Have a happy Veterans Day. And this is day number 11 in the books. God bless you guys. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.